Last time both they have taken class also, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So once again, I welcome all the participants and the faculty for this session. I'll just share my screen now with all of you. Yes. So kindly confirm whether you are able to view the screen right now in front of you, which is the SCC Online Web Edition homepage.
You can see your screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, what we have, as Dr. Senthil had already, described it, it kind of covers the Supreme Court cases judgments. So let me just quickly run through the data coverage. In the web edition, what we have is, of course, the Supreme Court cases of India from 1950 till date. And of course, after that, we have also the Privy Council and federal courts from 1872 till 1950. There you will also find certain publishings having being highlighted. Along with that, there also there's a mention of true print. So these are the journals or publishers with whom we have a tie-up, regular tie-up, and therefore we are providing the exact photo of your print journal for all these publishings. Apart from this, we have all the high courts and select few district courts in SCC Online. Historical courts, pre-independence, whether it is our Pepsu, Lahore, all those are available here. And various tribunals and commissions, including the Company Law Board, NCLAT, APTEL, TRI, RERA, CCI, CSTAT, all these are also available here, NCDRC, TDSAT, etc. Then we have also the statutory law and the secondary materials. In the statutory law, what we have is the central acts, the state acts, the rules, regulations, circulars, notifications, bills in parliament, and a new edition, constitutional orders made by the president. Those are also available. And of course, in the secondary materials, we have the Constituent Assembly debates, the entire volumes from 1 to 12, reports of various commissions and committees, including the Law Commission reports, pre-independence as well as the present ones, and some new additions, as you can see, new being mentioned over here. So these keep on adding from in regular intervals from time to time. So you get to see those new additions also. Then we have the legal articles. So legal articles from Supreme Court, as well as the practical lawyer, our own another journal that we have, and various leading national law universities and institutions of repute. Their legal articles are available. Then treaties, bilateral and multilateral. Then historical trials also. Those are also available to you, and policy documents from various departments of the government and the ministries. And of course, the Tagore Law lectures. That's what all we are covering in the subscription that the Central University has subscribed to. Now, coming to the login, I am sure.
Yeah. Mr. Raina, I have a question. Student must be wondering, why does all these things are important? Because all we talk about legal research is we need to go through the judgments or at max the acts. Why do we need bills in parliament? Why do we need Law Commission of India reports? Why do we need treaties and all stuff? Why do we have so much of data? Is it of any use? Because you have at least spoken for at least 2 minutes continuously about database. What is the purpose of other databases that we have?
Yes, of course. What is the purpose apart from the case laws? Let's just take out the case laws. There is so much other data that is available to us. So what is the purpose of that particular data? When you are talking about the law itself, how it evolved, how it was formed or framed, all these things are there, available to you in the form of, say, Constituent Assembly debates, let's say, for example. And then coming to the Law Commission report, what happens over here is that how the law is, framed. as such. So these are these are the building blocks for any student, law student, apart from, of course, the regular what you have, the case laws that you will be studying. I think
So boss,
you
what you're
can
trying
add
to
more. I
say,
mean, yeah,
yeah, I think there's we can add some more of it.
Yeah.
Basically, what you're trying to say is that judgment is one thing. Judgment is precedented things that you can cite,
correct.
right?
Yeah.
And you'll only cite judgments when you want to, like there's a term, we call it as a precedent. But a
Yeah.
lot of times, precedents are only been cited for your reference or in your actual litigation. But when you're doing a research and
Mhm.
when you want to understand a certain aspect, either of an act or a particular judgment, why a judgment was brought in, referring to some other aspects, you need to go back and see the origin. Like Mr. Raina said very correctly, that the Constitution of India, like we know it today. Now you read Constitution of India. Yesterday we were in a session, if you remember, Mr. Raina,
Yes.
KLE. They had
Correct.
asked a question that they told us that they had shared one thing. One of the professors said that he was searching for freedom of speech.
Speech.
Now,
Yes.
when we talk about freedom of speech, and if you read about freedom of speech in the Constitution of India, you will see it over there. So there is nothing, there's nothing to, you have to run away, run for that particular information. It's right there in the Constitution of India.
Mm.
But now, if you just read what is written in the Constitution of India, you are reading only a one aspect of it. When I say what is the other aspect, why a particular thing was brought in, what was the intent of bringing in this particular right, that is the freedom of speech. So to understand the intent, you cannot read the final product, the byproduct, that is the Constitution of India. You need to go back to the original, the origin of that particular thing, that is the Constituent Assembly debate. In the Constituent Assembly debate, which went for almost like close to 3 years, 45 days, less than 3 years, 300 people sat down, they discussed about what would be legal, what would be illegal, and then talking about, if something is illegal, what would be the punishment? Would be for 1 year, 50,000 rupees, 2 year, 10 lakh rupees, all that things were discussed. And for anyone to understand the Constitution as a whole, it's very, very important and imperative for us to go back and read the Constituent Assembly debate and understand that. And similar things like the bills in parliaments, you see the BEAR Act, which has been, there, has enacted and been assented by the president or the governor. But you need to see what was the original draft like. What happened in the parliament, what happened in the Lok Sabha, what happened in the Rajya Sabha, and then you build it up and then you see the final gadget. Same thing for the Law Commission of India reports. You see the history, you see the analysis, why a particular reform was brought in. Now, why we are saying that you need to go back and come back to, come to the present and not like the other way around. See, you can go to the court and you can just start arguing by having a degree. No one's going to check your, your knowledge level. It will just come across in the cases as you go by. But what happens is that it is better you build up your base right now rather than build it later. And I'll stop this explanation with this one example and hand over the baton to Mr. Raina again. Have you ever seen a township getting made? Whenever the big township is getting made, what do they do? They dig deep, right? They dig deep, so deep, and it takes almost a month or two to dig deep. And then they lay down the foundations, and then they, come like one by one, and then come to ground zero, that is ground level, the ground floor, and then they shoot up. Now, if you just think about it, if you have seen anything being built up, you would agree with me on this that they take a lot of time building up the foundation. That's digging deep. The more the deep they do, the deeper they dig, the better, the stronger the foundation will be, right? And once they have this hit the ground zero, when it comes to the building of floors, it goes really, really fast as compared to how much time they spend already on in the digging. So that's the same thing for you. You have to spend a lot of time getting your base, getting your basics clear or in place. Once you have a basic clear, your foundation is strong. And then you can build up. Because if God forbid, someone doesn't have a strong foundation and starts the building the houses from ground zero, if there's a announcement or a the government says that there will be an earthquake and you need to vacate the properties who are not earthquake proof. Now you know it as a builder that your building is earthquake proof or not. Now you cannot summon the Lord Hanuman to come for you, pick up the building for you, and while you dig again and lay down a foundation. No, it is done. Your building is there. No one, you can't go back and do the rework of laying down the foundation. You can't do that. So the same thing happens for you. There'll be no Lord Hanuman would be coming for you saying that, okay, I don't want to talk in Hindi. I have better. I would have given this example better in Hindi with all this what's and everything using the words, but you get the point. So I highly, highly recommend what Mr. Raina would be showing you today will not only be the judgments, but all the other things which play a very, very vital role, a pivotal role in your, getting prepared for the litigation period or in your corporate life, whatever that you choose. So please, the good part is that we have a very limited audience today, which means that we can discuss individual queries, right? So please, please feel free to ask your questions. There's an option of raising your hand, which Mr. Raina will show it to you. You should, click on that and we will see that you have a question. We will ask, we'll call out your name and then you can simply, reach your question. So there it is. So there's a question mark. So there's a hand icon. You click on the hand icon, you'll see your name hand icon appearing next to your name. So let's do that, right? So let's get started, Mr. Raina, and show us, what's more than just going through judgments. Over to you.
Yes, thank you, Chetan, for beautifully briefing this up. And I'm sure that students would have got the message. So quickly we move on to the login. I'm sure all the students will have access to the software, to the SCC online database, and I'm sure other databases remotely. So for that,
we should actually ask this thing that if any student have any concern accessing, if you cannot access SCC online, because we are not in the university now, and if you cannot access it, I think this session would be a good time to let us know, and we will do whatever that's in our hands to get that sorted. So you can put it in the chat that if you're able to access it or not access it, please do both the things while we are going ahead with the session. Please use the chat option. I'm gonna initiate the chat right now for you guys, and you can just simply put it over there. Just say yes or no. Yes means that you can access. No means you cannot access, right? So please do that.
All right.
Okay, no access available as of now. Okay, thank you, Nirun. Please, other members can also put in, and we will continue with the session. And in the middle of the session or at the end of the session, we will take this separately. Ranaji.
Thank you, Chetan. So once you log in, there the login pop-up that you'll see, it will have two sections. One is user login, the other one is IP login. And for accessing, you need this IP login appearing on your pop-up of login. So first step is to recognize or identify this IP login. Once you have that, then you can proceed with your ID, which is registered on the server, and then you can straight away log in. But if you are new to the platform, then in that case, you will have to register once. It's a one-time, one-time thing that you need to perform. You need to click on the bottom last option, the link register here on the screen. Then you will enter your email ID your full name, and then click on register and login. So next screen, it will show you, it will prompt you to enter the year of passing your graduation, whether it is 2022, 23, likewise. And for the faculty, they can just simply skip that option. There is a skip option available. So that being a one-time process, the next time around, you simply straight away go to this IP login. After IP login, you enter your email ID and click on, you can make it remember also, and click on login now. So this is the first step. Once you are through with that, then you will get access to the software, which comprises of, first thing that you will see on screen is the dashboard. SCC Online dashboard, which comprises of 3 sections, very colorful. As you can see, the blue section is for research purpose, where you will be doing your research on the basis of a query, a word search, or maybe a party name or a citation search. And the second segment of red color tiles will provide you access to the library section of the software, which is somewhat similar to your physical library. Over here, whatever title you click on, whatever title you pick here, you click there, you can then simply view that document. So it is like a click and view segment section. Then the third one, the links, which is in charcoal gray color, gives you the links to the external websites with whom we have tied up. And if any of the subscriber has subscribed to these English law, the Singapore LawNet or Hein Online USA, you will be getting access to those websites also. So our focus will be primarily on these two, Research Plus and the My Library segment. Now let's move on with the word search. In the Research Plus, the first and foremost is the word search. Now in word search, we'll be entering our query. For students who are freshers or first year students, maybe they will also tend to do the Google search, somewhere on the free websites, and therefore they might apply the same over here. So I am just comparing it with, say, Google search and SCC Online. There is a huge difference over here. You don't have to enter the entire description of the query over here. You have to only focus on the main keywords. So if I'm looking for latest judgment on, say, latest judgment from, let's say, Supreme Court of India. Let's say I'll just enter the this entire sentence like this. After that, I'll just start the search, right? And what we are expecting now is the latest judgment from the Supreme Court of India on defamation. Now, once I get the results, always you will find this standard 3-columnar display format. The first column will show me all results. Means what? All results means the entire databases. USP is our digest note, the summary, the gist part, followed by that this judgments not only from Supreme Court, but High Court or maybe other tribunals, etc. Then you have also the notifications, articles, wherever this query is being found, it will show all those results. So 219 in all, but in the result list, subsequently it's showing me the title of all those. It's showing me articles first, and then followed by that, second one is on also an article, and third one is a Supreme Court judgment, of course. And it's a 15th of January 2010. So it can't be latest. I was looking for a latest judgment on this from Supreme Court. So what I'll do is I'll first, select the database. Selection is being done by, clicking on this only icon adjacent to the database you want to select. In this case, I have selected Supreme Court. The rest of them get deselected. In the central column result list, now I am seeing only the Supreme Court of India. Now from here, I'll need to, sort it. So there is a sort by option. I can sort by oldest first, latest first, or maybe at times quorum strength wise. I want the largest bench strength first or the smallest. So let me choose latest first date wise. And therefore, I am able to view this 3rd of June 21 judgment from Supreme Court of India. Now you remember this thing, 219 is the total number of results. And let me move back to the dashboard. So clicking on these three dotted lines, as you see on top, you will get back to the dashboard. From here, I'll again go to the word search, and the previous search is saved. I can just simply click on this pull down and select the retrieve that. I've done that. And in SCC, that was a generalized search, but usually we do in Google. In SCC, I'll just simply focus on the main keyword in this case, which is defamation. So latest judgment from Supreme Court of India, you have already seen that we were able to, use the filters. We're able to do the sorting. So all these things are taken care of by the software itself. So let's see the results now, and there is a sea change from 219. It's now 9,190. So it's a huge difference. So lesser we key in, the more results we're getting. And as you can see over here, digest notes and the judgments. Let me straight away repeat the same process. I'll just segregate Supreme Court of India, and then 256 judgments are there listed, and those are all now available in the result list column. Again, I'll use the sort by option and select the latest one. Now, the latest one will be on top. And as you can see, the date of that latest one is 3rd of June 21. But the results that we had previously had there's a huge difference. There were only few two-digit numbers of Supreme Court of India. Now we have 256 judgments. So you would have missed out on all these judgments or that much of information. And of course, the third column will display the text of the first in the result list that you have. So you can see the entire full text of that judgment in the third column. Now, this is a one simple basic thing that we should focus on the main keyword or the law point, and just forget about the rest of the description that we have and enter only those. So similarly, if we have to look for judgments on, say, consumer protection, and where we want a compensation, the client is looking for compensation due to deficiency of service. So therefore, again, I need not go through the entire description. I'll just focus on the main keywords over here. So consumer protection is what I am looking for, and what I am looking for this. So I'll just enter consumer protection, and this consumer protection has to be searched as a single word. So for that, I'll use the double inverted commas. I'll put the double inverted commas in the beginning and the end. This way, it will search these two words together. Otherwise, without this also, I'll get the results, but consumer in one paragraph and protection maybe in some other paragraph. That kind of documents also it will show up. I don't want that. So what I have done is I have just done a simple search, single search on consumer protection, and therefore I was looking for actually the compensation for the deficiency of the services. So I'll put the other one in this result only now, not in the lakhs of judgments at one go. I could have entered the entire sentence or the main keywords at one go. It is recommended that you do a focus search. So how you approach that? First thing is that first step, and under the first step, you have entered the consumer protection, and in the second step, just below this SCC online logo, you have this search within search results. So obviously, it will search within the results only for, say, deficiency of service. I'll type that over here, and also I'll put it in double inverted commas again, since this is to be searched as a phrase, as a single word. Therefore, it will search within these 60,000 and give me the results on that. And further, I can also, I was looking for one on compensation, so I can simply enter that also in the third step in search within search, and start the search. So this way you can break it into parts, do the focus search, and therefore narrow down on the one results that you are looking for. And moreover, you can also modify a step. So you don't have to redo the entire steps. You can just, for example, in this case, second step I want to remove, I can click on this cross button. It will remove that step, adjust the results accordingly, and then the modified step can be searched here in the search within search results, right? So the second thing is to do the focus search over here. Now, coming to some, there are some other advanced search features also. We'll look after that. We'll take that later. Let me just move on to the other options that we have over here. Let me go to the last option, that is words and phrases. Now, words and phrases is an option where you can read the definition of a particular legal word or a phrase. So if I'm looking for, say, definition on bail, I'll just simply type bail over here, and then you will get to see that the definition defined in the statutory law is being displayed in front in the window. Then followed by that, you also find a definition of bail defined in A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras, and also in Vaman Narayan Ghia versus State of Rajasthan. There could be another one, of course, third one is also there, Deepak Subhash Chandra Mehta versus CBI. And followed by that, last but not least, you have the Wharton Dictionary definitions also, as you can see in the square brackets, WHART. This is the Wharton definition that is also being incorporated in the words and phrases section. Coming back to the dashboard, we saw word search. Similarly, we also have this find by topic. What is the major difference? Here you can simply select from the topic list among the topics, like you have administrative law, arbitration, and aviation and all that. So if I select, say, arbitration, so under that you will get the topic tree with subtopics. Over here, the Arbitration Principle Act here itself, award, Chamber of Commerce rules and foreign awards, interest, institutional arbitration, natural justice, etc. So when I choose one among those, and on the bottom, you will see some 3 types of searches I can perform. I can search by default. It's set as search in digest notes. So it will search only in the head notes or the summary part of the Supreme Court of India. That's by default. But if you want it to be searched in the full text judgments of Supreme Court, High Court, Tribunal, etc., then you will choose the search everywhere option, the first option among the 3. And of course, you can also save it for future by checking this box, save search preference. So next time it will be searching on the one you have set. And after that, you can all click on the go button. And therefore, I'll get the judgments on, say, natural justice from all the jurisdictions. Not only that, including the rules, regulations, notifications, what all as you can see in the all results segment, which is pertaining to natural justice. Now, another aspect over here is, as far as studying point of view is concerned, for students who want to know, maybe you have a topic, you can just type it over here. And the best part is that topic can be falling under various topics or statute list. So I give a common example of, say, police. Initially, I would think of maybe 1 or 2 statutes, right? Like maybe criminal law, right? So of course, criminal law, I can see criminal law over here, but there are other statutes lists, like I have service law. Under service law, you also have this police manual, etc., from various states. Then you have also one under human and civil rights, doctrines and maxims, customs. Also, you have police, one police rule. Then under criminal law, of course, you have police, and Armed Forces Act also you have. So you understand the entire topic tree. It gives you a better understanding as far as understanding under which statute list this topic will fall under. Right. So let me just move back to the dashboard. And The next option, my favorite, yes, find by party name. Here you will be searching when you will get one party name. But the question is, if you have only one party name, maybe the appellant name only, or maybe the respondent, and it could be a very common name, then what would we do? Let me first select the jurisdiction. That is what it is asking for in the traditional this option over here. All jurisdiction is to be used when you don't have the information, whether it's a Supreme Court or a High Court judgment. You can select that. It will search through the entire jurisdictions. If you are specific, you can select that, like in this case Supreme Court. And then if you have a very common name like say Gopal Singh, so it will give you a huge list, isn't it? So among the list that you see in the bottom, it's very cumbersome or time consuming to figure out the one I am looking for. So what I can do in that case, I can enter the other party name also. Like I am looking for one on Kharak Singh versus State of Uttar Pradesh. So I can enter both the party names partially, not necessarily the full name of the appellant or respondent. In continuation, in between only a blank space, no versus or v dot, and thereby it will definitely give me lesser results and it's easier for me to identify the one I am looking for. You simply double click on that citation or the party name and you open the judgment for you. Now the same format will be appearing. All results, result list, and the text of the judgment here in the third column. But you can see over here, apart from the judgment, it's also showing me the digest notes. That is the summary or the law points discussed here in this particular judgment. Now, the second column has the title, the citation, the judgment date, as well as the couple of labels named as J and 6. J stands for full text or the judgment, and 6 is the quorum strength. And the second number is a digest note, a summary, and 6 is the quorum strength. Let's scroll down a little bit. In this point number 6, I can see another additional label appearing, which is a red circle with an exclamation mark, which denotes that this particular law point has been overruled. Remember, in Supreme Court, most of the time means maybe 95% or above, the entire judgment is never overruled. Only select few law points are overruled and the rest of the law points stand good law as good law, right? So you cannot immediately say bluntly that yes, this judgment has been overruled. The rest of the law is still good. So this is an identifier over here. And what if there is more than one law point which is overruled, and though there are lesser number of digest notes in here, if you look for say a judgment of on A.K. Gopalan or any other judgment which has hundreds of law points or digest notes, it's very cumbersome to scroll down and identify these overruled digest notes. So for a quicker retrieval, I will just type in this search within search overruled. So what will this do? It will pick all the overruled law points and place them in the result list column. As you can see, the first one is a judgment not overruled, fine. The second and the third digest note are also not overruled, but are appearing here because overruled has been discussed somewhere in this digest note, but the law point is not overruled. And coming to the rest 4, 5, and 6, they are the overruled law points. So let's see one among those. I'll click on this and it's talking about criminal law police regulations, section 236C, D and E, constitutionality, articles 19(1) and 21. So per majority, this has been the opinion. But over here, you can see also that 2 judges have a dissenting opinion on this particular law point. So that is also mentioned in the digest note. And this is Justice Shah and Justice Subara. Now coming down further to the footnote at the bottom, you can see that it is also being mentioned in which case law this particular law point has been overruled. Let's move on to the next one. That is, I think, on Article 21. Again, you will see per majority the opinion and the dissenting opinion of the honorable judges, and followed by that again in which particular case law it has been overruled or impliedly distinguished. All those uh, vital inputs from the editorial are being also mentioned over here. Right now, there could be judgments falling in similar line or falling on similar line of law, maybe on right to privacy as this case law is. So if I want to see what has been the treatment given to this judgment in some other similar kind of judgments, so I'll use this icon, this option over here, that is case reference, which is the third icon in the third column. You can see over here, a single click on this icon, case reference, will now give me all those judgments or digest notes where this case has been cited or referred. Not only that, you will also see, let me click on this, go to next highlight, it will jump there where this citation is appearing, correcting. So here it's mentioned minority view held, affirmed as law. And again, it's also mentioned one below line, another majority view held, superseded and not a good law. So similarly, this was a 2014 judgment. Then again, it was also referred or cited in 2017 judgment. Over here, you can see that this particular case law has been referred to, whether relied upon or distinguished or followed on. All these kind of treatments you come to know by using this case reference and reading through these digest notes over here. Right. So coming back to the find by party name, the other segment that we have over here is finding by famous case name. At times we don't have the party name, but yes, we have the name which is made famous by the media. I mean, it's a media headline like Sabrimala, Triple Talaq, Baburi Masjid, Ayodhya, and all that. What all I have searched earlier, you can see all those over here. These are all, media famous case names. So the moment I either enter the name over here or select from the previous searches, it will decode. The software will decode and give me the actual party name. So that's how you can find by famous case name. You can search by famous case name. Again, I move back to the dashboard. The other option is finding by citation. Now in citation, of course, you will select the publisher first. Apart from SCC, we have also tied up with other journals, SCC being our own publishing, like we have ILR, 9 states we have tied up with. We have DRJ for Delhi, MP Law Journal for MP, Maharashtra Journal for Maharashtra, and likewise. For the rest of the states, one or the other publisher is there. So more than 200 plus publishers citations we have put. We have not tied up with all of them, but suppose we don't have a tie up with AIR, but you have a AIR citation, you can still search on that basis. So you'll type the publisher's name or the citation format AIR, then it's giving me the suggestions. These are all type of formats. I'll select the first one, that is Supreme Court. And followed by that, I'll select page number 1 among the index and click on the get citation. So this way it will open the judgment now in front of me, but you will see that on top it's mentioned as SCC. The citation is mentioned as SCC. But when I open the digest note, let's say, and go to the bottom where this party name is mentioned, along with it, you will find number of citations. Not only SCC, you will see AIR, that's how we reached there, all India cases, CUTLT, criminal law journal. So if you had any of these 3, 4, 5 citations types, it will still open the same judgment over here because the mapping has been done by our editorial. All the equivalent citations have been kept over here. So therefore you are able to view it. And of course, their valuable input distinguished in Ravi V versus state of Maharashtra and relied on in Ravi Shankar versus state of MP. So you get all those pearls of wisdom. And then coming back to the dashboard, let me just show you one more. One option because I wanted to highlight this and select few judgments. What we have done, we have also incorporated the summary of arguments. So let me pull out one 1993 judgment for you, which is a judgment on the appointment and transfer of the High Court Honorable High Court judges. Supreme Court advocates on record association versus Union of India with SP Gupta versus Union of India. As you can see this judgment over here. The judgment starts with the digest note, the head note part, scheme of the head notes is being mentioned over here, right? So along with the digest notes, you also see these highlighted the act itself, the articles or the individual sections over here. Suppose I want to read the article 32 over here, I can click right away. It will open it in a new window. Read that article, close it, and you're back to the original judgment. So this hyperlinking has been done throughout. After that, while I scroll down, you can see the summaries of the entire judgment over here. And on the bottom of the summary, there is a para number mentioned over here. At times you will have more than one para also mentioned, like in this case 439 and 441. If I click on the para number, it will jump to the judgment portion where the entire para can be read. This is only the summary part. This keeps on going for few hundred pages. So this is the kind of editorial work that you see in this judgment. And after those summaries are done, we come to the part where the summary of arguments is also starting, which is highlighted in blue, as you can see. So this has happened in the court of law between the two parties as it is has been embedded or put over here. This also runs into a few maybe 100 odd pages, and then the actual judgment starts, and it starts from page number 504. So before that, what all you are getting is extra, is the input from SCC or from the editorial board. So this is the kind of value add you get. Now let me just move to the top of the judgment. You can see there are it's a 9 judges bench, but only 5 are in bold. The rest are not. So the ones which are hyperlinked or are in bold are the ones who have penned this judgment, who have authored this judgment, right? So this is an indicator. And then again, if I want to read Justice Verma's portion first or judgment first, I can click on his name. It will jump to that particular para from where his judgment portion starts. And clicking on his name will take me back to the top of the page. Now, every para which is mentioned over here has a this icon also adjacent to it, which is meant for copying purpose. You cannot copy the entire judgment manually by using that highlighting and Control-C, Control-V, because this particular judgment has the digest notes or the head notes embedded. So therefore, the manual copying is not activated over. But of course, you can copy the judgment paras. So the process for that is in that icon, this icon that you see and the para number before the para number, you just simply click once. It will show one green tick. Similarly, I select the next one and I can choose multiple paras. I'll select those. After that, I'll click on this icon, fourth icon known as Smart Copy. Once I click on this Smart Copy icon, what happens is that it will extract these all paras in a new window. And every para will have the source, that is the party name, citation, maybe if any equivalent citation and page number. So you can see for each and every para, the source is there. From here, if you want only select few lines to be copied, you can highlight and use the manual method. You can also mail it across to yourself or your colleague, fellow student. You can copy it in entirety and paste it in the Microsoft Word editor or something like that. So this copy paste feature is available here, right here. As far as the other judgments are concerned, where there is no digest note or it's not copyrighted, you can manually highlight and use the Control-C, Control-V option. Right. Let me just move back to the dashboard. We also have this find case law by section option, whereby you will be entering the act name. I click on this and it will show up. I mean, it will prompt me to enter the act name over here. So when if you have a Indian Penal Code or any other act which starts with Indian, just skip that because it was getting too common and we were not getting the kind of results that it's giving a huge result list. So you can simply, instead of Indian Contract Act, you can simply type, say, for example, Contract Act over here. Once you do that, you get the Principal Act, you scroll down, you get the section list, you select the particular section you want to retrieve. So for example, in this case, section 17, you click on the go button, and therefore I'll get the judgments, the digest notes on section 17 of the Contract Act. Right. Now, let's move back to the dashboard and come back to the word search. Remember, we had done a simple single word search and a phrase search. Similarly, as I told you earlier also, if you have a very descriptive kind of a query, in that case, you should also focus again on the main keywords and leave the rest, and you will get the kind of results you're looking for. So in the there was one query while we were giving the presentation, like the client wanted judgments on the admissibility of the photocopy or Xerox document in the court itself, whether it is admissible or whether it is permissible, things like that. Now, in this case, what we had over here, the synonyms that we have. So synonyms in the form of Xerox, in the form of photocopy or photostat. These all are one and the same thing. But what I'll do, I want any of these. It could be any of these. So I want to search them simultaneously. For that purpose, what I'll do is I'll just type out all these words, synonyms over here. So the three that I had was Xerox or photocopy or photostat. I have kept over here. And there you will also find suggestions where it has already been a search has been performed. It will show you in the bottom. Let me select this and also explain you what this is all about. Now, or and near. These are two operators, as you can see in the bottom. It says use not, or, and near in all capitals. Now, what is their function? These Boolean operators or words. The or operator will search for either of these. Internally, the software will do the search for these synonyms in the form of first time Xerox, then second time photocopy, third time photostat, and for fourth time maybe any of the combinations. And the admit or admissible again will search for either of these, but then you will also notice that there is an asterisk associated with admit, as well as the admissible is also not being typed entirely. Only the constant words, the beginning ones, admissive is the constant one. After that is star. So what this asterisk or the star will do, it will take care of the extensions. Maybe we have admitted, admittingly, right? And in admissible, admissibility. So all these extensions it will take care of with this asterisk. And of course, these combinations of the Xerox as well as this admissibility, they should also appear nearby so that they are part of a sentence. I have not entered the entire sentence because the software will look for the exact match and I'll miss out on a lot of maybe judgments. So therefore, I'm focusing on the main keywords, and in between I am putting the near operator and it will search nearby. And how much nearby? If you just scroll down, it will show you the near setting is 10 words range. So it will search for both these, options in the range of 10 words, right? And let's start the search and see the results. So a combination of both the operators or and near we have done. And the first digest note that I am reading right now is on Civil Procedure Code, Order 13, Rule 4 and 3, admission of documents in evidence, proper procedure for admissibility of document held to be decided at the state of admission itself instead of leaving it be decided subsequently. Then again, it says a plaintiff producing photocopy of trademark registration certificate, production of photocopy instead of original, objected to be opposite party, yet trial court provisionally admitting photocopy subject to objection of proof and admissibility held photocopy. So you can see over here that it is, forming part of a sentence, that is admissibility and admitting. As you can see, both the extensions are taken care of, and then the photocopy, right? And if I go to the other digest notes like this one, the Madras High Court, here it's talking about Xerox, not photocopy, and admissibility and admittedly, right? So you are not missing on even a single, permutation combination by using these Boolean operators and special wildcards like this asterisk. Similarly, apart from this near and or, we also have another operator that is not. And not is used when you don't want to include some subtopic or some topic in the result list. You want to keep that away or out of the result list. Let's choose one example, like I am looking for judgments on compensation, but I don't want the ones on, say, medical negligence, right? So what I typed after not will not be included in the results, right? And I can use this not operator multiple times. I also don't want one on motor accident or on, say, land acquisition. So I can use it multiple times. Or there could be also that or operator can be used in this case. I'll show you. I'll use this bracket as we did in our school time as a BODMAS, you can say. Same way, I'll put these multiple choices in brackets with or. So this will get first resolved internally while doing the search. And then these all will be kept out of the compensation search, right? And let's now start the search. So these are all the Boolean operator searches or the advanced searches, you can say, that you can perform as per your requirement. And to cross check, you can also enter in search within search any of those, words, like in this case, medical, I have typed in. So you'll get to see that no result is found. Now let's move to the other icons that we have quickly. Let me just pull out one Supreme Court judgment first of all, and then the icons I'll just quickly run through where they are sort of self-explanatory. Like you can save a judgment, you can also mail a judgment. So all that is possible by using these icons. I think they are graying out at this point of time. I don't know why. As you can see over here, the first one, that is save. It will be saved in your maybe my documents or downloads folder. Mailing it will mail it across. Printing, of course, I told you there is a true print in the beginning, I told you, and the other one is non-true print. Now what true print means is that it will be the exact photocopy of the print journal that you have. The same will be replicated over here in the print, and you will be able to see the same paragraphing, bold, highlight, everything. Similar format for that particular publishing or publisher, in this case SCC publishing, as you can see. And the non-true print will be a simple computer generated print, as you can see here on the web itself, page itself, the same way it will be shown. Now coming to the other icons, like you can share a document by clicking on this document sharing link. It will generate the link and you can then mail it across to your maybe a colleague or student, fellow student. You can also, I have also shown you the copy paste feature. Apart from the copy paste feature, what all I can do is I can also save all these judgments, not only judgments, maybe an article or maybe a judgment from a tribunal or an act section itself, different type of documents in one folder. It can be conveniently saved rather than saving them individually and then looking for all of them, clubbing them together and putting in a folder. So how to create a folder in SCC? You can see there is an icon, the second icon in the third column known as add to my SCC online folders. When you click on that, it will simply, ask me in which folder you want to add. So previous one is being displayed. I'll click on change folder. By default, it shows my folder. So I'll select my folder once again. Click on the bottom button option, that is new folder. A new folder gets created. Once the new folder gets created, it will prompt me to give it a name. So I'll give the name of your Central University. Sorry, spelling. Central University. Nakulam, let's say, and then press enter. It gets saved. Once saved, then on the bottom there is a select folder button on the extreme right. You click on that and now it's showing your university name. Then I click on OK. And of course, after creation, this particular judgment has been saved and stored in that folder, Central University folder. And where this folder is being saved, it's being saved on the cloud, on the SCC Online server itself. So it's not occupying any of your disk space. Then coming to the other High Court judgment, maybe Allahabad High Court judgment, I'll just retrieve that. After that, I'll click on this add to my SCC Online folder again. Click on the OK button since folder is already selected. This way I got this document also. Then I also wanted one article. So I'll click on the article segment in the all results first column. And once the article is appearing in the third column, I'll click on the add to my SCC Online folder, and this one also is being saved. So multiple documents have been saved under this folder. And next thing I want is I want to retrieve now these folders. So how I do that? I click on this My SCC Online icon. I'll put the mouse pointer and select my folders and click on View Folders. The moment I do that, all the folders that I have created will be displayed in the first column, and the latest one that I have created is being displayed on screen. You can see all the documents, 3 documents that I had attached to it are being displayed in the result list. If I want to prepare a case compilation of all these documents, how can I do that? Can I do that? Yes, I can. And within no time. No time means around a minute or so, which usually will take you an hour or 2, because you'll have to take, after taking the prints, you'll have to manually prepare the separately the table of contents as well as do the pagination, page numbering manually yourself. So I'll select all the documents over here. After that, I'll go to this action icon and select the last option, which is create case compilation. Once I click on that, it will show me it will give me the display of all the titles of the documents. I don't want article on top. I can select it and use this bottom arrow, move to bottom, and it will be jumping to the bottom one. Similarly, I can do what all sequencing I want. Once that is done, then you click on the create button. Clicking on the create button will now generate the compilation in the background while we are discussing. And believe me, it should not hopefully take more than a minute or so. And it will comprise of 2 sections, that is the table of contents and documents. You can see here, it's already generated. So the third column shows me the table of contents. Now the first document title neatly placed, page number 1. So it goes up to 3. That's why the second document starts from page number 4. It goes up to 6, and from 7 to 12, the third. Right. And here I can insert a line, enter any notes, make it bold, italic, etc. Not only that, what I can do is I can also, embed, if I'm suppose preparing for the moot court or something like that, I want to embed my college logo. I can go to the website of the college, right click on the logo, click on copy image address, go to this icon image in the table of contents, the third last, click on that, paste the URL. Of course, it's showing a huge size. I'll reduce it to say let's say 400, then click on OK, and you get to see that on top it's showing the icon or the logo of your university or college. Once the changes are done, you click on the save changes to save them permanently. This gets saved. Then in the second column, you click on the pages 1 to 12. All the documents will now be displayed as per table of contents, and every page will have a page numbering done by the software automatically in square boxes, as you can see. So I remember page 1 to 3 was the first document, and from 4 the new document starts. So everything is in continuation. You have to simply click on this download arrows for both table of contents and documents. They'll get downloaded into your downloads folder. From there, you take a print, file it, and present it in your moot court or later on in a profession in the court itself. So that is case compilation for you. Now, let me just move back to the dashboard. Coming to the other options that we have on the dashboard, My Library section. As the name suggests, I told you in the beginning, it's like a library segment. So I'll click on this browse curated topics, which we developed, our editorial developed in this past 1.5 year during the pandemic. And the entire laws, the headings, the topics that we have, like public law, corporate commercial law, intellectual property law, etc., are being put here. And constitutional law and property law are in gray because the work is always still going on in these two particular topics. Let's take the example of, say, public law. Under this, I'll now get a list of all the topics. This was the main heading, right? So under the main heading, we have on public law, the topics like citizens, migrants, aliens, animal law, advocates, food adulteration, etc. Right? So let's take any one of the topics over here, like citizens, migrants, and aliens. As you can see over here, it's showing me the constitutional documents, statutory law, rules, regulation, notifications, case law, etc. Now, I wonder what this will show me. Will it show me the entire case laws on citizens and migrants? No, it is all curated. It's already sorted out or filtered out by our expert editorial, and the main focused ones are only kept over here as far as case law is concerned. Now, coming to the statutory law or maybe even the constitutional law, see, they fall under different categories. Apart from the Constituent Assembly debates, you will also find Constitution of India Article 5 over here, right? So it is also related to citizens and migrants and aliens. Similarly, when I go to the statutory law, and apart from the Citizenship Act, etc., what all we have, we will have other various. This is the Principal Act. You have Representation of People Act. You have Succession Act. You have National Security Act, Stamped Act, and whatnot. So these informations are, picked from different databases on the relevant sections under those acts, which are related, directly linked to citizens and migrants. So those are kept over here. Scattered information clubbed and put together at one place. Same goes with the case laws. As you can see, you will not see more than 10, 20, at times even 5 or less for one particular topic. So though there will be thousands of cases on judgments on this. So if I click on any one of those titles, you'll get to see the digest note over here. And if you want to read the entire judgment, you can click on the citation or the party name over here, and it will open up that for you in a new window. So everything is curated, filtered, and placed at one place in this curated topics section. Now, similarly, we have the browse law reports and browse judgments by court. So what you see over here is the entire index of the law reports, whether it's AIR or maybe ACJ or All India cases. You will simply expand the one you are looking for. Say, suppose in this case, All India cases. As you can see, year wise, it has been kept over here. I'll just expand it further, and it will now show me the individual, page numbers over here. I click on any one of them and I can view it. Again, a click and view kind of this option is available. Same goes the case with the judgments by courts, whether it's a Supreme Court or a High Court or a tribunal, the format is something like that. That I'll show you. Supreme Court, you will expand. It is kept in 10 years bunches. I select the latest one. I go to 2021 and I opt for the month of June, and then it will show me date wise. So all these documents are, put under this format in the index for you. Now coming to the browse action rules, you get to see the Constitution of India. Apart from that, you also see the central acts, you see the state notifications and the central notifications, etc. But in central acts, what we have done is we have kept, we have also embedded the important case citations on a particular topic under the section. So if I select, say, Contract Act, the entire BARE Act will be now displayed here, right? Let's start with it. You see this blue color highlighted line, applicability. This is an additional information being incorporated by our editorial. The most important citation and judgment on applicability. And this commentary or the lines are also picked from the judgment text only. Similarly, you find one on gift, on void contract. As you scroll down at regular intervals, you will get to see these blue highlighted portions, which are, according to the editorial, the most important judgments on that particular topic or title, and that is under that particular section, whichever it is. So you will find one citation, maybe, or at times there could be two also citations on a particular topic, and clicking on the citation here itself will open it in a new window. You can read the relevant portion, close that window, and you're back to the originals BARE Act. You can save the entire BARE Act, you can mail the entire BARE Act, you can print the entire BARE Act. That can also be done over here. Now, coming back to the dashboard, then the articles option. We have leading law review journals from leading publications like even SC Supreme Court cases is there. Then you have the leading law national universities and some institutions also. So you can simply click on the index and you get to see the entire list. But if you have a specific title in hand, so you can use the quicker method by using the filter. Suppose I'm looking for, I was reading this one on hate speech. I'll type that in the filter segment, and it'll just pull out from all the journals, the ones which are titled as hate speech or their hate speech is mentioned. One from Aligarh Law Journal, CALQ, JLS, NUJS, Practical Lawyer, as well as SCC, Supreme Court cases also. So you can get to see these law review journals. And apart from that, what all we have in the article is the blogs. Though blogs is a separate website that we have, but inside within the software SCC Online also, you can access some of the topics or some of the information which is kept in the blog. So you can use that SCC. You can select this. You have Experts Corner, editorial opinion, Law Made Easy, which has very simple language, articles on the topics, on the law topics over here, especially useful for the freshers or the first year students. Similarly, we have various reports, essays, and Tagore Law lectures. The entire series of Tagore Law lectures, beginning from 1870 till 1942. So you get to see all of them here. Coming back to the dashboard, the next segment is the secondary material. And as we were discussing, as Chetan was in the beginning, we were discussing this, the building block, that is how it was framed or how there were, the law was framed. You have this entire Constituent Assembly debates before that. And if you see over here in the Constitutional Assembly debates, you get to see the entire volumes of Constituent Assembly debates from volume 1 to 12. And not only that, you also get to see the index of the Constituent Assembly debates, see volume 1 to 12. All the entire volumes are there, beginning from 1946. Date wise, you can see what all was discussed there in the assembly. And of course, in the index, you get to see the comparative table. When the this constitution was drafted, this assembly debate, when the constitution was drafted and when it finally came into force, the final shape, there was a difference in the paras or the, you can say, para numbers that you see over here changed while the final shape was given. So what was discussed in the draft, like in para 1, is finally, when it finally came up, was defined in the para 2. And some of it, like you can see, if I scroll down further, 5A became 6, 5AA became 7, and on which date it happened, that is also mentioned over here. So again, it is going to be of as useful help for you to know what was the origin and what final shape came up. And then historical trials. There's a trilogy of historical trials: Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Sir Roger Casement, and Maharaja Nanda Kumar before independence. Then policy documents from the various ministries and the departments of under the ministries. Those are also kept over here. And reports, as we were talking about, the reports of various commissions and committees, including the law commission reports, which were there from pre-independence also, as well as the current ones. The current ones are, I think, since last I saw was till 2018. So you can see from 1956, you have the entire law commission reports, and this goes up to report number 277, that is of August 2018. Right. Now, coming back to the dashboard, you have the treaties, bilateral and multilateral. Let's move on to the next option, that is moot court resources. Now, in moot court resources, what we have, the actual moot courts that happened, and in the final, whether it was the appellant side or the respondent side, and what was the problem also, is being kept over here. And these moot courts, we have got this data from all those universities where we have a tie-up. We are doing the sponsorship of moot courts, and therefore we are, otherwise it's very difficult to get access to these information or data, and therefore we are able to get those. So we have kept all of them for you. Let's take one example here, like MET Lucknow National Moot Court held in 2018. It was the 11th one, and you can see the problem which was being discussed over here, and the winning team memorial appellant, as well as the winning team memorial respondent. So this will help you in the preparation of your moot courts as and when they happen. So this segment is very useful. Then we also have added this one new button over here, that is browse legal business news. Again, the resource being majorly we have picked it from the some of the information from the blog itself, and these are segmented into Supreme Court, High Court, and tribunals. And under those, you will get to see year-wise. These are all indexed. And what all topics it will cover, it can be anything from civil to criminal to all the aspects are there. So that also is going to be an useful information for you. Then coming to the last option, as I told you, this gives you links to the other resources. But yes, in this, you can see this STC Online blog. If I click on the STC Online blog, the new page opens up. And in here, if you can see, there are various topics over here. You can see the experts corner, where you can read on leading law related titles or topics from leading these law firms and persons of repute. Then editorial opinion, all the articles are kept as and when. Yeah.
You should also show all this in the local language as well.
Yeah, sure.
That should be.
That's very useful. That is very useful.
So I think just go till case brief, and then you can
convert
it language and then show it.
Correct. Sure.
And I don't see sir is here or not, but I think members have requested that they would like to see the remote access once.
Okay.
I would just give me a moment. I will request any of the student who is on the call, or any professor, faculty member who is on this call, who knows how to access the remote access, or who has the ID and password. Could you please help us, sharing your screen and helping others to go through how to access the remote access? So we would need that help. So we will seek that help once we're done with this last detailing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Chetan. So we have this editorial opinion again. There are articles from our even archives. You can see archives from Practical Lawyer, one of the journals that we have, and the editorial opinions there. Then news related to law, whether it's events, webinars, or any appointments, transfers, treaties, etc. Then coming to the case briefs. So this is one important segment where if you at times you want a very latest information and suppose you are looking for in the SEC online and you are not able to find, there is a high chance that you might be able to find that here in the blog itself. How? Because what editorial does initially when they do their start their preparing their head notes or initially they are known as the case briefs, while they will finally be published and put in SSC, then they become the head notes. Otherwise, they are case briefs before publishing. They are kept over here. So you can see very recent ones from Constitution Bench, from the Supreme Court, or the High Court, or the tribunals, etc. Let me show you one on the from the Supreme Court of India. And as you can see, it's mentioned as 29th. Today is what, 30th. And I'm not surprised by evening I might see one on 30th also, or maybe by afternoon. So it's as frequently updated as such. So migrant laborers, one nation, one card scheme to be reality in all states by July 31st, right? I click on the title. Once I click on the title, it will now show me the case brief. And in the case brief, you will also come to know, of course, the title is there to provide food security and all. These highlighted lines are, picked as it is from the judgment. The rest is the editorial work, as you can see. And while we are scrolling down, it will also show me the party names. It will also show me the writ petition number and the date also. And of course, at times, why not we want this to be read in our native language, and we'll get more pleasure out of it. Will definitely anybody will in its regional language. Why not? So let's try that. So I think we have Malayalam for Kerala. Just check. Yeah, so Malayalam is there. From the Google Translate, this particular portion you will select among, and then you will be reading the entire the title, then the brief in your Malayalam regional language. I think it's definitely you'll be happy to use and read because it makes you more comfortable, while you are reading in your regional language. It gives you more pleasure and taste that way. So you have this flavor of regional language also in the blog, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. And of course, we also have the legislation related information, whether it is the rules, notifications, amendments to existing laws, statutes, bills, etc. That also can be accessed from here. You have law school news also. You can see what all moot court announcements have been made, or whether there is any debate or competition of moot court, etc. Conferences, seminars. So you can use this option also. And law made easy, as I told you. These topics that you see are made in simple language so that it can be understood by even the freshers. So that's why the title. And then Know Thy Judge. Now in the Know Thy Judge, at times we also want to know the entire history of a professional career of a judge. So what you can do is you can simply click on the judge's title over here, and it will give you not only from his career, beginning from his studies, what all he was born and studied, and then it's a very brief one intro. Then it comes to the career, started as whether a judge or a lawyer or senior lawyer and things like that, and what all important judgments he gave. Those are also put over here. With the title, you have the hyperlink. You can click on the links and it will open that judgment in the SEC online itself. So landmark important judgments as far as that particular judge is concerned, the career point of view, what all important judgments he has given, all this is also available. So it's a very interesting read as such for you. So that is the SCC online blog. Now, before I proceed further, maybe I
Mr.
I'm almost.
Rana, please, I think show the translated one. Have you shown that?
Oh, yeah. Translation we had shown from English to Malayalam. Yeah.
Achha.
So I think I'm waiting now, Chetan, for that, what you were saying. That is, if any of the members or the honorable distinguished faculties or the deans or principal has that access to remote, so that it will benefit of all the other participants who
Could
don't know how
you
to
just call up sir as well, because I think sir has just left the meeting.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I will just talk to everyone. In the meantime, you'll call sir up.
Or maybe,
Yeah. So to all the students, if you can let us, you can help us, anyone who have been using the remote access, is there any one person on this meeting who will be using the remote access feature?
Sir, can you please speak?
Please.
Sir, I'm Arjun from Central University of Kerala, Department of Law. Sir, I just want to let you know that the
students, if you are
password
having any problem with
access
access of SSC, please you tell them. Then only we can do that things. Already they have asked me to your email ID and also they have sent that your username, password, and using this one, and you can access the SEC database. If you are having any problem, you tell them so that they can rectify it, please.
Sir, I'm the faculty of Department of Law.
Yes.
Actually, we didn't get any information from the university through email. So I'm not sure.
SEC, they have asked me to provide that because since that lockdown period, I have asked them, then they have said that MyLoft software we are using through they have given issue to the students and the faculty members. Since the library is having your email ID, faculty email ID, so that we have provided them. So in mail to you, if you are having any problem, that's why we have requested once again them to organize this way. You have to utilize maximum utilization. Then only we can subscribe. Renewal can be made in the next year. Please use this one.
Okay, I think Meera
sir.
ma'am and everyone, Mr. Raina, I believe sir is saying about MyLoft.
MyLoft.
Yes. So I
Senthil,
think
sir.
Yes, Mr. Raina.
Just sorry, I'm interrupting. Senthil sir, when was this data shared with SCC? Because I was not having this information of all the email IDs and all, which are which were.
Yeah, yes, sir. I have sent it in May, I think.
Okay, sir. Senthil Kumaran sir, we'll do one thing. I'll just share my email address on the chat. If you could, send it one more time on this
Sir,
ID.
is it possible to give a common username password, sir, so that I will already I have shared that our students' email and phone number also, sir.
No worries. You can send the same email one more time. What I'll do is I will send the same invitation email to everyone today itself. So maybe
okay, please, sir. Because all the students are in lockdown period, they are not coming to the university, sir. They are not able to access this one since you have given IP enabled, sir. That's why we have requested you to give that remote access, sir.
Okay. No worries, sir. So that's what I'm saying. What we can do is, to all the members, you expect an email by today evening from MyLoft.
Yes, sir. Today itself, once again, I will forward it, sir.
Yes, and sir, we'll also show it to you right now, the entire process. Once you receive an email, how you need to set it up yourself.
But sir, you have given that MyLoft through that only you have given, sir, isn't it?
No.
But
yes,
Mr.
but
we haven't shown the MyLoft.
No, we haven't.
We haven't. So we'll show everyone that once you receive an email, what kind of email?
Sir, you tell them, sir, how to access in that. I will send that email, sir. How to access? What are the things to be done like that? You inform them, sir, so that they can easily. They
just
can
do
be able to access, sir, that remote access, what are things to be done that you explain,
Right.
sir.
We just
Within
do that. So just
5
give
minutes,
us,
please, sir, so that
just give us 5
student and
minutes.
the faculty can access it.
Yes, sir.
Ah,
So
okay.
to all the members, you'll be receiving an email not from SCC Online, but from this center, that is noreply@mylaw.xyz. This is the email that you'd be getting an email from sender. And it is a high possibility that if you have not received an email till now, please check your spam or junk folder. It might be over there, right? Otherwise, I will anyways send the email
Sir,
today
once
itself.
again, you send it, sir. Even no problem. Once again, you can send it, sir.
No, sir. What I'm saying is, it's not only for the last email, but also for the today email. Even
Yeah,
when I
yes, sir.
send the
Yes,
email
sir. Right,
today,
sir. Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
yeah, even if I send the email today, it might land up into your spam or junk folder. So please do check that as well. Once you receive that email, it will say set password. Okay, as you can see over here, you click on set password. Mr. Raina, could you please click on that? It will then open this, open up another web page of MyLoft. And because Mr. Raina has already used this particular link before, so he says that link has been already been used. But for you guys, it will give you an option to set your own password, right? And once you do that, once you set your password, you click on sign in, Mr. Raina. And over here, do not go for, don't look for your institute. Rather, just search for institute as SCC Online. Because right now it's a trial activation that we've done. So just search for this SCC Online and just start continue. The email would be the same email on which you have received this particular ID, and then you put in your password. Click on sign in. And over here, the first thing you'll get is this message which says add extension. So you need to click on that, add extension. That's a one-time thing. Just say add. Either you're on Chrome or Edge, in both the browsers, you will get this option. Once you do that, it will bring you back to the same page. Just stay over there. It will just read. So it's going to reload the page. And there we are. So the next time you log in, you don't have to do add extension. And now once you're logged in, you have to click on e-resources. And then databases. And in this database section, you will have SCC Online. And once you click from here, you will get that option that Mr. Raina had showed in the starting of IP login. If you do not follow this entire process, you will not have the IP login coming in. So this is the most important step. So that's why MyLoft needs to be, process has to be followed to get this IP access. If we simply go to Google and type scconline.com, this IP login would not appear, only the user login, which will ask for your ID and password. So that's how it needs to be done. Now, sir, before we conclude this session, I would say that one more time that Senthi Kumaran sir, if you can just send the same email, share the same email with us, and we will send it. And for all the members, the faculty members of law and other students, if you do not receive an email, please do check the email addresses or just write an email to us. I have already shared the email address in the chat. You can see it. That is learning@scconline.com. So if you don't receive an email by today evening, just mention your name and your current email address in that email and send it on this ID. Do mention your university name. So what we'll do is we'll check the email address which has been given to us. Sometimes there's a spelling mistake or something. The university has a different email ID than what you're using currently. So we'll do that at our end and we'll rectify it and send an email to Senthi Kumaran sir and also to a new email to the concerned
I will
students.
send it, sir. Right now, I'll send that our students' email ID, sir. Email ID and the phone number I am having, sir.
Okay,
So
sir.
I'll
And how
forward
many
it.
students? How many students
One
have you sent
second,
it for,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
actually, Santosh sir, sir, actually, our research scholars email ID, I mean, their official ID is they could not access that, sir. With that email ID, they could not access, and they are using their personal IDs. So I think that's
Since I am forwarding now, they will activate it. No issue. I think, isn't it, sir?
No, sir, what Meera ma'am is saying is something different. What she's saying that the scholars are not able to access the official ID. And they will
Yes.
receive this email on the official ID, but they cannot access it, so they will not get the, access. So probably we can use
They are
their
using
personal
their
IDs.
personal
Correct.
Yes.
No, sir. Some of the students, they got university email ID, sir. Some of the students, they are not getting due to this lockdown period. So that
Okay.
I will forward that thing, sir. That email, please you activate, sir. So that the student can able to activate, use this SSC online, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
Meera ma'am, what you can do is I've already shared my email address.
Okay.
You can also do it. You can send me the list of the scholars who are not able to access the official ID. Mention their official ID, mention their personal ID. I will check at my end what email I've received. And accordingly, if there is anyone whose official ID is mentioned and they are not able to access the official ID, I will change it at my end. Don't worry.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, you please send me a mail in my official ID, then I can collect all
Sure, ma'am,
all
sure,
our
sure. Okay. I think I am having your number, your email ID, ma'am. So since you are given in our, I'll check it, madam. I'll check it and I'll call you whether I will confirm with your email ID. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
So I think, sir, we will wait for your email and
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
all the
Students,
members.
if you
can
are
have a
having any
look at-
problem, you can ask with them regarding this access of SCC online. Otherwise, we will wind up the session.
Yes, so we'll do that. We have a question from Nirun. Is it the institutional ID or the personal email ID? Nirun, we are not really sure of that because it's a mix and match. For some, it will be official ID. That is the institutional ID. For some, it has been a personal ID. So you can check with Senthi Kumaran sir personally, call him once and you check your, which email address has he given to us. And he'll be, I think, the one person who will be able to do that. Or you can reach out to our email address by today evening if you don't receive on any of the emails. Once I have
please, if you are not receiving any email, please you write an email to me so that I will convince to the SSC online people. Chetan Singh sir and Rajesh Raina is there so that I can convince this your email ID and your particulars to them to access the SSC online.
Perfect, sir. I think with that, we'll conclude the session, sir.
Okay, sir. If there is no more questions, so that we can wind up the session. So I thank Rajesh Raina sir, Chetan Singh and Mohit Singh sir for a nice presentation. First of all, I would like to thank Vice Chancellor and Registrar for permitting us to conduct this training on SSC online database. I thank Rajesh Raina, Chetan Singh and Mohit Singh sir for arranging this training program for our students and faculty members. I heartily thankful to SSC Online for arranging this training program and a live demo on SSC Online. I thank all the participants for actively participated in this training program and interaction with the resource person. I thank my library staff for their support for conducting this webinar. All the participants are requested to submit their feedback form. Thank you once again for your participants in this webinar. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank
We'll
you,
end the
sir.
meeting now. We'll end the recording now.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.